afternoon to you. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this afternoon, Governor Wike asks traditional rulers to support incoming administration. PDP Senator-elect from Rivers State back APC's zoning of 10th Senate presidency to South-South. Presidential Tribunal adjourns Obi's pre-hearing against Tinubu. Police arrest suspected car thieves. Recover vehicles stolen in Port Harcourt. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken calls Tinubu emphasize commitment to partnership. Federal government advises resident doctors to shelve their warning strike on the foreign scene. Children seriously hurt in Australia's school bus crash. I am Constance Mega. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says his administration understands the importance of the traditional institution in ensuring peace in the state and will continue to give all necessary support to the traditional institution. Governor Wike, represented by the Chief of Staff, Government House, Emeka Woki, said this at the foundation laying ceremony for the construction of the Palace of Ezeoha, Apara Kingdom. Well, he assured traditional rulers that whatever support enjoyed from his administration will be reciprocated by the incoming administration of Siminalayi Fubara. Governor Wike also appealed to traditional rulers in the state to support the incoming administration of Sim Fubara. The lawmaker representing Rivers East Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator George Sekibo, says the APC zoned the Senate presidency to the South-South in order to balance power across the different geopolitical zones of the country. Well, it comes as the APC continues consultations ahead of the 5th June inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, where Senator Sekibo of the PDP spoke to correspondent Martha Okere on this.
He was in the Senate for just 4 years, and an experienced is needed to palate the affairs of the Senate and indeed to be the chairman of the National Assembly. It is a complex position, so he has to carry us along, play along with every person. He should avoid to be a rubber stamp in the president. He should listen to the yearning, the aspiration and the cries of the Nigerian people and work towards serving the people properly than serving another institution of government.
Well, the senator-elect for Rivers East, Orwell Onyeso, who defected from the APC to the PDP in 2020, also spoke on this.
We have deputized before. Others can also deputize us. We are from the South-South. So geographically, the president of the Senate coming to the South-South will mean that he will look more the problems of South-South when it is time for decisions to be taken. So like that will gain something. It is not the same as when you have to go and lobby. He is from the South-South. And so if decisions will be taken, he will be there.
Well, as you may know, at least 6 senators are running for the seat of the president of the 10th Senate. Meanwhile, a BBC report says its investigation has found evidence suggesting that some results from the presidential election conducted in Rivers State may have been manipulated. In the report, the BBC said it added up 6,000 election result sheets from the polling stations and compared them with the results declared at the state level. Well, the BBC said it found that while the official result in Rivers State gave a clear majority to APC's Bola Tinubu, the BBC tally suggested that Peter Obi of the Labour Party actually received the most votes in the state by a wide margin. It also questioned the identity of an election official, Dixon Arriaga, who read out some of the unexplained results. The report said the BBC investigation tracked Mr. Arriaga to the Federal College of Education in Omoko, where he said he worked, and the management of the school said he was unknown to the school. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja today adjourned to Friday for continuation of pre-hearing in the petition by presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, against the president-elect Bola Tinubu. Well, Labour Party National Chairman Julius Abure was also in court today. The party's factional chairman Lamidi Apapa was also present. A mild drama, however, ensued between the two camps of the Labour Party on which group should be in court. The tribunal refused to take an appearance for the Labour Party as acting national chairman of the party, Lamidi Apapa, as well as the national women's leader of the party, Dudu Manugu, who tried to make an appearance for Labour Party when the petition was called. Well, Justice Haruna Samani noted that if two persons are making an appearance for the party, they will not be put on record. Moving on. Hearing of the matter between Emoha local government area and the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, PHED, at the State High Court in Port Harcourt has been adjourned to 30th May. The matter stalled on Monday due to the absence of the distribution company. The chairman of the council, Chidi Lloyd, had instituted a 5 billion naira suit against the company for breach of contract to restore electricity to the local government area after paying 24,100,000 naira, being its own part of the funds for the restoration of electricity entered with PHED in December 2022. While the lead lawyer to the Emoha Local Government Council, Prince Azunda, spoke to correspondent Emeka Otuka shortly after the court proceeding.
My client approached the court on the following issues. 1. Breach of contract by PHCD. My client entered the contract of 24,100,000 for redistribution of the entire Emoha community, and he paid the said amount to PHED. PHED, in their wisdom, refused, neglected to carry out the performance of the contract, which is called in law specific performance, which they refused to. So my client went to court for either to resubstitute him or to pay damages of 5 billion naira.
Well, Chairman of Emoha Local Government Area, Chidi Lloyd, says his decision to suspend the salaries of the members of the Emoha Vigilante Service, MOVs, was in a bid to remind them of their core duties. He said this on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire program.
What I have done is to seize the allowances of the power vigilante with a view to reminding them of their core duty, which is to provide information to the police, that the police would catch up with whoever is disturbing.
The Rivers State Police Command says operatives of the C4I intelligence unit of the command, in the course of investigating into a case of kidnapping and armed robbery reported on 15th January, traveled to Kano State and arrested one Abdullahi Ibrahim, a member of a car snatching syndicate. The spokesperson of the command, Grace Iringe Koko, in a statement, said the team recovered a black 2010 Toyota Matrix with registration number SPR283TA and a blue 2008 Toyota Camry with registration number ABC4980, both believed to have been stolen from Port Harcourt. A spokesperson of the State Police Command, Grace Ringakoko, spoke to newsmen on this.
The operative of the River State Police Command, while acting on credible information, on Friday, 14th April 2023, acted on the tip of a kidnapping and armed robbery case reported to the C4 Intelligence Unit on January 15th, 2023, proceeded to Kano State Police Command on investigation activities and successfully effected the arrest of one Abdullahi Ibrahim, male, and recovered a black 2010 Toyota Matrix with registration number SPR 283TA and a blue 2008 Toyota Camry with registration number ABC 4980.
Well, operatives of the C4I intelligence unit raided an apartment on plot 34 Lompri Street, Transamadi, and arrested a suspected kidnapper. The police statement said the items recovered included one AK-47 rifle, 3 magazines loaded with 30 rounds of live ammunition each, 2 long single-barreled guns, and 1 live cartridge. Spokesperson of the River State Police Command, Grace Iringe Koko, said the suspect kidnapped a woman and her daughter. SP Ringe Koko also said that operatives of the command also arrested a member of an armed robbery and car snatching syndicate on 8th May 2023. 2023. Moving on now, the United States government says no American citizen was affected in a Tuesday attack on its consulate staff convoy along Atani or Samale Road in Anambra State. The U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby made this known, and as you may know, 2 staff of the United States Embassy in Nigeria and 2 policemen were shot dead yesterday in I beg your pardon. In Amiyi, Eke, Ochuche communities, Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State by gunmen. In a statement, the spokesperson for the Anambra State Police Command, DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, said the joint security forces embarked on a rescue/recovery operation in Ogbaru local government area following an attack on a convoy of staff of U.S. consulate along Atani or Samale Road. Still ahead, federal government advises resident doctors to shelve their warning strike. Stay tuned.
Stay on track.
Marked the International Day of the Boy Child yesterday with the theme Boys and Mental Health. A medical psychologist, Ayodele Ajebi, says effective upbringing of the boy child can address social vices such as rape, drug abuse, cultism, and bullying, among others.
Even if you look at this rate, suicidal attempt is higher among the female gender, but suicide rate itself in terms of successfully going through the action is actually higher among men. This actually tells us that the well-being of the male gender is also as important as the well-being of the female gender, because we can see the impact of this. The mental health and the well-being of men is actually needed to be given equal or higher concentration for us to have a healthier environment, for us to have a more healthier home and healthier society.
Well, Dr. Ajebi also advised the boy child to speak to a trusted fellow when faced with some challenges.
Know that we are celebrating you. You're not alone. Whatever it is you may be going through, know that sometimes it's okay not to be okay. There are times in life that things are actually not going to be okay. So it's not a strange thing. It's not a weird feeling. It doesn't make you different. Don't struggle alone. Speak to a professional around you. Speak to your parents. Open up. Speak to a teacher. Speak to a trusted, fellow around you. And if you know you don't want to speak to parents, tell your parent you want to see a doctor.
Well, the guardians and counsel of the University Demonstration Secondary School, Muneke Chimela, also spoke on this.
Programs organized by the Guidance Council is geared towards this area so that they can be able to cope with these changes. It's not just to the boys, it's both to the parents. The type of parenting should be the mentoring type and not the authoritative type of parenting. Because as these boys are growing, they are seeing these changes for the first time. So what they need is a friend, not just a parent that is autocratic and authoritative, because they are looking for who to confide in, who can help them in these changes so that they can also have a good mental health.
Well, a boy child also spoke to our correspondent.
Boys should be given more counseling, more attention should be given to boys are kind of introverts. They don't like to spill it out all the time. But though sometimes my mom notices I'm constricted, so then asks me what's wrong, then I have to open up. Regular guidance counseling should be given to, so we should try to groom them in order to face the challenges of being a man in the future. They need a lot of training.
The International Day of the Boy Child is set aside to raise awareness of the need to protect the boy from harmful societal influences. The federal government has warned members of the National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, to shelve their planned 5-day warning strike, describing it as illegal. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, issued the warning on Tuesday shortly after receiving a letter from the NARD executive notifying him of the industrial action which began this morning. According to the statement, the health minister will instruct the teaching hospitals to employ ad hoc people for those 5 days, and they will use the money of the people who went on strike to pay the ad hoc doctors. In business, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, says weaker currencies in Nigeria and other sub-Saharan African countries are pushing up public debts. Well, this was disclosed in a blog post published on the IMF's website. The fund noted that with an average depreciation of 9% since January 2022, sub-Saharan African currencies have weakened against the US dollar. In entertainment, English singer Ed Sheeran has reviewed how Eminem's songs cured his childhood stutter. Well, the singer said he developed the speech disorder from a traumatizing incident that haunted him, and it was the rapper's Slim Shady album that helped him find his voice. In sports, Arsenal player Folarin Balogun has committed his international future to the US, ditching England and Nigeria. The 21-year-old Arsenal player, who is on loan at Reims in France, was born in the US to Nigerian parents and raised in England. Well, after FIFA cleared him, Balogun decided to pitch his tent with the US.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
A group of primary school children have suffered traumatic, life-changing injuries after a horrific bus crash in Melbourne, Australia. The bus was carrying 45 students when police say it was hit by a truck from behind and rolled on Tuesday afternoon. Some 18 children aged 5 to 11 were rushed to the hospital, many for emergency surgery. One remains in intensive care. The truck driver has been charged with dangerous driving, causing serious injury. On the news this afternoon, you heard that Governor Nyesom Wike has asked traditional rulers to support the incoming administration. PDP Senator and Senator-elect from Rivers State have backed the APC's zoning of the 10th Senate presidency to the South-South. The Presidential Tribunal has adjourned Peter Obi's pre-hearing against Tinubu. Police have arrested suspected car thieves and recovered vehicles stolen in Port Harcourt. The federal government has advised resident doctors to shelve their warning strike. And on the foreign scene, some children were seriously hurt in a bus crash. This happened in Australia. The news was edited by Martha Okere Nkem. Mostly cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this afternoon. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I'm Constance Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Do stay tuned. The sunny side comes up shortly.
On your talk station, the conversation never ends.